mean, somebody. Man, I mean, big 7 packs of catfish and they ain't had no grease to cook it in. I went over next door. And then one thing, refrigerator probably spoiled all the catfish because I don't want to get no. The more I talk, the more the dinner be right in front of my face, but the more time passes, the food waste right in front of my face. Especially ice cream. Every time I ice cream be like liquid when I get home. Walk with this, I can't figure that out. Drink the stuff. But see, this whole city like that. It's a Harry Potter kind of city. All this junk on and nobody ain't talking about it. It seems like every time I finna talk about it, keep myself from talking Wow, that's what I'm looking at. Oh, look at that. That ties in. Ain't made a mess yet. Look at this.
I'm hooking you up, RL.
Okay. Good.
Bless him, Lord. Bless that sandwich.
I want that.
In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay. This is the best. You take some of my drop back. Then you won't. How you gonna do your food? I think you know about that. All right, look. Oh, yeah? Okay, fine.
I'm hooking you up, RL.
Okay.
The time is now 5:34, and I hereby call the special council meeting to order.
You don't have quorum. How you gonna do anything?
Go ahead and pass out that warning.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present.
Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Present.
Mr. Jarrett is not in. You have 4 members present.
We have 4 members present. We will now be at ease until we
Point of order.
achieve quorum. Yes.
You cannot go to at ease without quorum. You can recess for up to 15 minutes and then we lose quorum.
We will recess up to 15 minutes, and then we will try to establish quorum by having our clerk call the missing people. So you want to put the clock on for 15 minutes? And at that point, Madam Clerk, if we still don't have quorum, will you please call the absent council members?
Point of order. It's including the 15 minutes. It's not after the 15 minutes.
13, and then
So we will know that.
I don't know the address of this property. So if I know the address, then I can look up like what type of group home, because usually it's one parking space per employee.
How do you determine that?
Well, it depends on how many employees they have. Now, if they're blocking the driveway or for them to be able to come out. Right, but there are certain requirements about street parking as well. You can't obstruct somebody getting out of their driveway. So then that's easy. We can have parking enforcement go there for that. But
I'll call Dr. McCormick and ask him the address,
yes.
how many cars are there at any given time.
Well, if I know how many members are in that group home, that will give me at least a basis.
So
That's
just the address should be determined.
yeah, because it is a residential group home, right? Okay. Yeah, because there's some laws about we can't prevent the group homes, of course, from being in neighborhoods, because that's a fair housing issue. But if I know how many members live in that house, where they're parking, and then I'll have the answer for you. Thinking by the end of
And
the
then the
week.
last one, since you did bring that up, I forgot to put that damage claim.
Yeah, that damage claim, Vicki and I will be finishing up tomorrow.
Okay. Perfect.
So right now, you're welcome. We're just trying to work with the staffing company to see if we can get some additional help, because I don't want to keep sending stuff out to outside counsel costs. Exactly. So yeah. Great. Thank you. No, you have been, so I appreciate it.
And all red, white,
Madam Clerk, could you please tell us the results of your communication with our fellow council people?
Okay, Mr. Alamin will not be attending this evening. Dr. Lewis will not be attending this evening. Ms. Burns is en route, so she should be here any minute. And I was not able to reach Mr. Jarrett.
Okay, with permission from the body, we'll wait for Ms. Burns. And we stand in recess. The time is now 5:53, and I'm calling the special council meeting back into order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present.
Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Present.
Mr. Jarrett is not in. You have 5 members present.
We have 5 members present. Mr. Pfeiffer, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I want to apologize. I should have asked our Boy Scout troop who are visiting to come and do that for us. I'm so sorry. Pastor Hicks, can you give us the blessing? No, sir, not yet.
Good evening, City Council, and to the waiting members and residents. Let us bow. Most holy and righteous Father, we come now to say thank you for all of your many blessings. Father, we ask you just bless this time as the City Council comes together to discuss the matters at hand. Father God, give them a unified thought, give them a unified action, that the members of this city can be blessed and helped. We give you praise, honor, and glory in Jesus' name, and we say amen.
Thank you. I know. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code Section 3110, disorderly conduct.
You're charging me, you're stealing my fucking property, you're a bunch of bitches, you're stealing my property to
Don't, Tanya, you can't leave the building. You can't leave, we lose quorum. Yeah, you can, okay.
You ain't no,
Yeah.
you don't need to control what you can.
All right, we'll go at ease. Tanya, go ahead. We're at ease.
Well, that's one of your nephews. You took this right away, now you took his property away. Don't know what he gonna do to us.
RL,
Yes, dear.
thank you, sweetie. All right, I'm going to go back and start reading the reading of disorderly person city code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code Section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given one warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meetings. It's now time for our public hearing, and Ms. City Attorney Gurley, do you have anything to say regarding this public hearing?
This is a time and date set for the community to voice their comments on the city's budget, proposed budget, in accordance with the Uniform Budgeting Act.
Thank you. So members of the public will have, I believe, Madam Clerk, is it 3 minutes?
That's correct.
Any person, you do not have to sign up. You can just come and speak at the lectern. This discussion must be on the budget. It cannot be on any other items.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I believe that the finance director wanted to explain something in the budget before.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms.
Madam
Moore.
Chair,
Yes.
before we do that, because I think we got to make it clear, because what you just said sounds like they wouldn't be able to talk at all. So if you have a agenda in front of you, you'll notice the first item after the reading of the disorderly person city code subsection is for a public hearing. That just means that at that time, we can only talk about the budget and whether or not we should adopt it. But if you look right under there after the public hearing, public comment, where you put your slips in there and the clerk has them, the clerk will call your name specifically for the public comment section, and then at that point in time, you can make a comment about whatever you came to make the comment about. But for this first part, anyone can speak, but it has to be specifically about the budget. But the next part, after we move on from here, will be public can speak.
Thank you, Ms. Mashat. Go ahead, Mr. Moore.
My presentation is very brief tonight because we've gone through this in a series of meetings earlier last month where we went through each individual budget with all the department heads to find out what was in the budget. We talked about then. The first thing I did want to point out is the general fund is the main operation of the cities, where things like police and fire, the city clerk, the finance part, those are all funded out of the general fund. We had a real peak in 2024. We received a grant from the state of Michigan to help fund our pension system. But outside of that, our budget is very flat. We have very little growth. We don't have any decline, but it is pretty much a stable budget. The same thing is true for the expenditures. The same thing, we had the peak in 24 when we received the grant, and then we paid that
Madam
toward
Chair.
our pension system.
Mr. Moore, can you turn the microphone towards you? It's hard, yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I'll lean closer towards it.
Thank
I
you.
didn't notice, thank you.
But if you look at the budget, again, it's very flat. The last couple years, it's a little bit higher than it normally would be because of some of the ARPA expenditures that we've had. And one of the things that is in this budget is we have some reappropriation of the ARPA dollars because we want to make sure those dollars get spent, and we don't want to have a pause where we don't do it now and we wait until the next fiscal year. So we made our best estimate. We fully anticipate that after July we'll come back and true it up, either up or down, based on what we've spent. We think we're pretty close, but there's going to be some true up after the new fiscal year starts. A couple of the key points is that there are no tax increases.
Pardon, Mr. Moore, go ahead.
I have, are we waiting for Mr. Moore, or is this just his presentation? Because I don't understand, what does true it up mean? If he can define what his definition of true it
That's
up.
okay. We had to make
Balance
the ARPA dollars. We had to make our best estimate as how much would be spent in fiscal year 25, because we want to make sure that people don't have to stop at June 30 and then have the city council reappropriate the money in July. And so that after July 1st comes around, we'll look at how much we've spent, and we'll either adjust that up or down depending on what has happened between now and the end of the fiscal year. Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Some of the budget highlights is that there are no tax increases proposed. There's no water rate increase proposed, no sewer rate increase proposed, no changes in the special assessments for trash or streetlights. All those are proposed to be the same. The one thing that is different is that for the first time in the history of Flint,
Lost it.
I'm sorry. They, that's close enough. The Headley Amendment was passed in 1978. The City of Flint has never had a Headley rollback. And for the first time, we are having to have a Headley rollback. In one sense, that is very good news. That means that our economy is strong and our property is selling. Under the Headley, what happens is if our taxable value increases faster than the rate of inflation, we experience a rollback in the amount that we can levy. For the City of Flint, for all our funds, all the different levies that we have, we're talking approximately $10,000, about $4,000 in the general fund, about $3,000 in the police and fire fund, and then smaller amounts in the rest of the items. It's not a big deal, but we are going to have to recognize that we have a heavy rollback. And the one place where it does impact us is we just got the software that allows us to make those calculations today at noon, which means that we just got it. We were able to make the calculations for the City of Flint as a whole, and you have the information related to that. We still need to make the calculations for the DDA. We haven't had enough time to make those calculations. We'll have to appropriate the millage for the DDA, but we have to do it after we can calculate the heading. We don't know if it's going to affect the DDA yet or not. So,
Thank you very much, Mr. Moore.
and that's all I
Okay, thank you. All right, it's now time for the public hearing. If anyone would like to come up and speak to the budget for the 26-27 fiscal year, please remember you have 3 minutes. There will be a timer up there, and you must speak only on the budget.
Are you through yet, lady, where I can speak?
I'm smiling at
My
you
name
now.
is Howard Earl Mitchell. To speak on what just Mr. Moore just got through trying to speak on, like you heard, the people's heard Mr. Moore speak on, he was trying to announce that we got $165 million in Flint, but you're trying to keep the budget down to $40 million a year, to 25 to 26. But as you seen this little episode, the man come in here and I know you saw that. Come on, what you do to my property? You look like your nephew, Miss Priestley, the one carrying them rifles around, and then that's why he ain't coming, because y'all made him take it because they're terminating the peoples. But that's the way the dope peoples over there a mile from your house gonna act when they take the property from them, because they ain't never went to the council and make the budget right, because the mayor, it's on the mayor's pocket. That's why Ms. Byrne, the only one, speaks on it. And that's, and to the little Boy Scouts around here, they know how to run the city on their own. You talking about the Boy Scout. You was addressing these boys. They know what to do. Because when Mr. Tarzan make an oath to him,
Mr. Mitchell.
he gonna put a bonfire right in there when
Mr.
when you
Mitchell,
lose your
please
seat with
stay
money
on the
back.
topic of the budget, please.
Okay, lady, I'm talking about the budget, but you see, the main, Ward 1 ain't here, and all the other wards ain't here. You can't vote, right? They put the budget in place, and they're trying to leave it up to Mr. Moore, talking that Japanese talk. Nobody can understand that rap stuff we talking about, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what's the word et cetera mean anyway? That's what et cetera mean when he talking that jump, rip rap. Tarzan, the only one can fix it. And when you get rid of you, he gonna keep his word to these Boy Scout fellas in here. And these next generation ain't no joke. Especially the guy with the smartphone over. There he is. Hey, like I say, stay tuned, America. You're gonna see what the real Boy Scouts are made of in America.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to address council on the budget? Anyone else? So this is for only the budget. You'll get called up for your public speaking. Okay.
Yeah, I just have one question. As you're looking at this budget, and it says something about an ombudsman, but where's that money exactly going to, since we don't have one? Silence?
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the budget?
I'm wanting to talk about the ombudsman that hasn't been sworn in, but yet you're cutting all this money for the ombudsman. And then I find out that, oh, it has to be in the budget. Well, what happened to last year's money that you put in the budget that went into general fund? Is that still there? Judy? Answer me.
I'm sorry, Ms. Williamson, we are not allowed to speak during public hearings.
I'm going to want an answer for that last year's money for the ombudsman that wasn't sworn in, and you have to, by law, allow that money into the budget, and then you slip it over into general fund, and I want it to be accounted for. That's what I want. That's what I want. And I want to see that money's still sitting there for the ombudsman last year. and where it went and how much went to an ombudsman that wasn't even sworn in.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the budget? Anyone else? Seeing none, this public hearing is closed. We're now on to public comment. Members of the public who wish to address the city council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box will be placed at the entrance to the council chambers for collection of registrations. No additional speakers or slips will be accepted after the meeting begins. Members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comment, with only one speaking opportunity per speaker. Madam Clerk, who is our first speaker?
First speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Hello, Flint. I'm R.L. Mitchell. For the record, we are here waiting to put somebody in the third ward seat where we can be comforted. The country bunkers ain't no take over Flint from us and put the state in here because Mr. Moore talking that et cetera, and they don't know what that et cetera mean. That's the new language in the book. That's why we Flintstones are gonna stand like Fred Flintstone and hold our grounds. Don't let the pests put us out of our own houses like you saw the episode a while ago. But y'all didn't address the little boy. Hey, look, your little nephew, Miss Priestley, took his property and stuff, and nobody saying nothing. But Tarzan's saying something in his head, but he don't want to speak yet. Yep, got to give him an opportunity. He already done said what he going after he gets you out of here and fill them seats in, put the bonfire there, and he know how to make a bonfire. If he don't, he'll ask the Boy Scout how to make a bonfire without burning the whole city hall down. Tarzan know what he doing. You can look at him over there. See? He's curious about you, and you doing the same thing, Miss Priestley. Like you, cause you got the money bag. Talk about what you got to say. We the people got to say about our money, and you try to take care of other cities before you take care of our principality. With taking care of that, what you call that, Mr. Magic guy, talking about special kids over on Eisenhower over there on Miller Road. They ain't never saw them that's happy and stuff. That's the closest thing getting prayer back into school. Mike Appenheimer said he will return, and that's the way Flint is after you get Miss Madam O'Hara records off the record and put prayer back into school. And stay tuned, America. You're gonna see what happened to Flint after that. Okay, take that.
The next speaker is Alonzo Miller.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alonzo C. Miller, the co-founder of Urban Boy Scouts of Flint. We have a situation in Flint. It's with our youth. My partner and I, we came up with this foundation to help out the youth and to help them with learning how to get along with each other, learning how to respect each other, learning how to behave in the household and inside of school, and also learn trades. I'm not here for the budget at all, but I do have a proposal for the city. We have the young men that have been trained how to cut grass, how to lay a floor, concrete floor, how to do electrical work, how to do certain things in the community that would help themselves. So we're hoping that you all can help us in helping them to have a job for the summer. So from this point forward into the remainder of the summer, we would like for you all to help out if you can. We've been training these young men for about 7 years. We feed them every Wednesday, a lot of times out of our own pocket. Sometimes we get donations as well. We also take them on trips throughout the city to learn a little bit more about culture, to learn a little bit more about generosity. A multitude of things we try to teach the young men. So we're not really asking for a lot of money. We're not. But we are asking for you all to show them that it's okay for them to help clean up our neighborhood. Because when we look out through the city of Flint, there's a lot of blight, either be grass extremely too tall, graffiti, trash everywhere. Once you get out the expressway, it's difficult to be proud of your city, even though we love our city. This is a great city, no matter what other people say outside of our city. I believe in it. So we want our young men to feel proud about where they live at, and to learn what hard work and discipline is, and to learn things that's going to help improve their lives. So we're willing to go out through the neighborhood, ward by ward, throughout the whole city, to clean up this blight that's around here, either be by painting buildings that has graffiti on it, cutting grass, picking up trash. We're willing to do what it takes to help beautify our city, because this is a great city, and I believe in it. I truly love it, and I know our young men, they are our future, and we got to teach them how to be better men starting now. We can't wait until they are grown men to help nurture them. We're trying to nurture them now. That's all I would have to say, but thank you for your time.
The next speaker is Gladys Williamson.
So you have exceptions to the rules, Madam Clerk? Exceptions to the rules. And I don't have anything against the pastor with the boys, except we have 173 foundations in Flint. They should be able to find some money to pay these boys to be young men. Absolutely. And I would hope that you guys would reach out and help him find the funds through these 501c3s. 173 of them in Flint alone. Candace, can I have your eyeballs for a second? That would be a no. And Priestley, I know you ain't got no eyeballs to give me. There ain't no money in it for you. I would like to speak about all the houses over there in Flint that are getting ready to be taken because of back taxes. Back in the leaded water, I was able to go over there and get a list of all the houses that were being foreclosed on through the city for back taxes in their third year, first, second, third year. And I dealt with that here at City Council. I went over there the other day and asked for a list of the houses that were in foreclosure because of back taxes, and I was told, get a FOIA. Well, I ain't got no money to get a FOIA, and I would ask that one of you would go over there and get a list of the houses that are in foreclosure in the city of Flint. And I just want to know how many of them are seniors. How many seniors is the city getting ready to put out of their homes? Now, last year we did, 93 or 94 seniors out of their homes? I would like to think that yous are doing something not to let that happen this year. But I can't publicly get the information without a FOIA. And unless you got bucks, you ain't gonna get that list no more. And I'd like to know what changed. What changed that I could get that list back in 2017 and I can't get it now, except this crummy mayor that sits in an office below us, down in the pits of hell, and I can't get that information.
The next speaker is Brooke Boyer.
I'm not the one to come up here and make fun of you guys and different things like that. You guys are not very respectful, though, if you're not looking at the people that are talking to you and being serious about the problems that are going on with Flint. There's not a whole lot of respect here, and that's unfortunate, but I know that God will take care of everything, and that's not my choice. What I do want to read is a passage from Matthew 25:32. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate them from one another. And as a shepherd divides his sheep from the goats, and he will set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then the king will say to those on his right hand, Come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? When did we see you a stranger and take you in, or naked and clothe you? Or when did we see you sick or in prison and come to you? And the king will answer and say to them, Assuredly I say to you, inasmuch as you did it for one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me. Then he will also say to those on the left hand, Depart from me, you cursed, into the everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, you did not take me in. Naked, and you did not clothe me. Sick and in prison, and you did not visit me. Then they will also answer him, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry, or thirsty, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister to you? Then he will answer them, saying, Assuredly I say to you, inasmuch as you did not do it for one of the least of these, you did not do it to me. And these will go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. Just realize there is a heaven and hell. And if you are on the wrong path, I will pray for you. And the way that you guys are treating these people out here is actually pretty disgusting. But again, like I said, God will have his way. And whatever happens, happens. I will pray for you guys. Have a wonderful day.
The next speaker is Sandra Jobin.
Good evening. My name is Sandy Jobin. Yep, that was my daughter, and that's why I bring her, is to tell her that she has the right to stand up to tyranny. What is happening here is disgusting, and how dare you guys, the churches, I cannot believe you're trying to divide these churches up. It's just beyond, out of Satanism. These churches should have been divided up. That money should have been given to each one of them churches a long time ago when they all, not just one individually and then pick them off one by one. You came up with a compromise and said, all right, we've got 4 different ones that need it. Let's feed them all. And you can't put your ego away far enough to feed everybody at the same time. So you're going to allow everybody to starve, and it doesn't make any sense. And I've said this 3 years ago. When the residents have had enough, right or wrong, from Democrat to Republican to Independent, and I really don't even know which side I'm on anymore other than for the standing of freedom. And there's freedom of speech. You may not like what I say, you may not like how I dress, but I have the right to do that. I have the right. I don't like what you say. I don't like how you address things. But you guys are supposed to be the people, put you in these chairs, and they can take you out. And the time is turned, and you are about ready to find out.
That's right.
The final speaker for this meeting is Tanya Jones.
Good evening. My name is Tanya Jones. I'm here because I'm a proud mother of a son, an autistic son with sickle cell, and he's here with me today. So I want to say thank you to Tanya Burns, Winters, and the people in council that supports me with everything I'm going through with my son. On another note, Candace, you cut my mic off last week, and you addressed that I don't go to church. I goes to church. You didn't see me at church because guess what? You only see people when they're at church. My son is here. I'm begging you, please stay off the autism topic because my son has pervasive development disorder. You can look it up and educate yourself. So it's very, very, very complicated. So you don't want to look up, you don't have to look up. But my thing is, if it's about the people, church people, disability, it's bigger than that. My son got me out here. I didn't choose to be out here. My son is 31, he got me out here. He's out there and I love him and I'm gonna fight for him. And if you really wanna know about me, ask your pastor, which is Michelle Knox. She worked with me at Powertrain. So she personally know me, so I'm coming. Anything when it comes to my kids, any of them. I don't care how old they get. They say selectively grown, I'm their mother. No matter what, I'm all they got. And I want to thank again Ms. Burns, Winters, 810, everything I went through. All these constantly ask me every day, I'm praying for your son, I'm praying for your son. But all y'all want to do is take money, here, there, everywhere, just want to take money. It's not even about the people. It's about lining your pockets. I can see it. I'm looking at it's all like a puzzle. You put it together. St. Mark's, people need that food. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't even want to vote on St. Mark's. Well, let's get to John Cole. Let's address about John Cole. They don't want to put that on the record, but I'm watching that too. It's when I say it's a whole lot, it's a whole lot. So I don't understand how the police officer can come here in an instant, be out in the field, but I can't get a medical pickup when my son go wander off. But he don't call for Neely. He don't call me if you call him. But guess what? I'm gonna keep calling. I'm gonna call Jesus, and God gonna work it all out in the end. I promise you that. Have a good night.
It is now time for council response. Council members may respond once to all public speakers only after all public speakers have spoken. An individual council member's response shall be limited to 2 minutes. Is there anyone who wishes to address the public?
Yes, Madam
Go ahead.
Ooh-wee, more power to the people. Yes. I would like to thank all of the residents for coming out. I would like to thank you for being engaged in the process. I want to touch on a couple of things that I heard. You know, there's a lot of things going on. And when I say a lot, I'm talking about layers on top of layers of things. There's so much, in my opinion, so much corruption going on. We're talking about the abuse of the $75,000 threshold, okay? We're talking about indirectly using city funds to campaign with. All of these things are going on. And I'm just asking for the residents to stand up against this. Every week when you come into this chamber, you are being thrown out. You don't even have freedom of speech. You do, but when you come in here, you're being thrown out. Okay? So I think the residents need to stand up, get together, fight. More power to the people.
Ms. Williams, please. Ms. Williamson. Go ahead. Next person, next council person. Who would like to speak next?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who have come here to express this is budget time. I will not be passing any budget for numerous reasons, but one is we do not have an opioid plan. I've not received it. And we have someone here who has a need, and we have had a need, and I don't have it yet. You know, and it's the things that the people's needs are not being heard nor met. We don't even know how much is in it really in opioid money. Where's the opioid plan? We don't have it. We don't have it. And it's other reasons. And Councilwoman Winfrey Carter, our senior councilwoman, is correct. Using money to campaign with, they've been doing it. The abuse on the $75,000 to make sure that council doesn't have to approve purchases, it's abused all the time. We don't know to the amount or how much. We didn't vote to approve that center over there on Clio Road because we can't afford it. You don't have to be a mathematician to figure out if we took in 64, we spending 68. We didn't approve that center, and they signed a six-month lease. The lease, according to the charter, I believe, is not supposed to be any more than 90 days, 3 months. Who's paying for these officers? This company. We didn't. I mean, they spend the money, then want to come back. There's a lot of issues in this. So, Alonzo, I believe you cut hair. You used to cut everyone's hair that worked for my company, ADT. They used to come there and giving these people a job that they were coming out of jail and prison, and I would take them to your shop and you would keep them groomed. And so I do want to talk to you to see what we can do, if it's not through here, through maybe some other places.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Pfeiffer.
I also want to thank everyone that spoke today. I want to clear up a couple of things. So, Ms. Gladys, so when something is in the budget, so say you get $1,000, and I'm just throwing that out there. So you get $1,000 in a month, and you're going to say, I'm going to spend $200 on groceries. Well, if you only spent $150 on groceries, then that money stays in your account. So that's, using that analogy, that is what the Ombuds office does. So we are allocating our $200, but if we don't spend it, that money stays in the account and it just keeps rolling over and over and over. So even though it's being allocated, it's not being spent until we have an Ombuds person.
So you got receipts for the...
Sorry, Ms. Williamson.
There is no receipts. It gets rolled over into the general, so the money comes out of the general fund and it just stays in the general fund. So there's no receipts of any money being spent. It's just like your bank account. The $200 just goes from August to September. Like, it just keeps rolling over. And that's what you see in the general fund ledger. And I also want to correct something. We think you said 172 nonprofits. There's 14. Yeah, there's 1,400.
No, that's in Genesis.
I'm sorry,
No.
this is not a back and forth.
There's 1,400 in the city of Flint. There's 1,400. I don't know where you get. There's 72 probably just on this, 172 on this street. So there's 1,400 nonprofits in the city of Flint. But to Ms. Burns' point, there's no opioid plan. There's no crime plan. There's no. There's no a lot of things in this city other than lies. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Ms. Mashat, you're the only one who hasn't spoken besides myself.
Yep, thank you. So I do want to say to Urban Boy Scouts that we are currently trying to get youth jobs worked out. So maybe if you reach out to the administration and tell them you're interested in being one of the sites, then that might be a way that we can place them for the summer through the city. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, I'll take my time. Again, to the Boy Scouts, Dr. Lewis has a group that operates in the North End, mainly in the Second Ward, called the, I think she's working all in the North End, called the Litter League. And I would suggest that you get a hold of her Not today, she's not feeling well, but in the next day or two. And also, there's Keep Genesee Beautiful. They can direct you to cleanups around the city. I know that we are planning one in the 4th Ward. Tentatively, let me look, see if I can't find that date real quick. Well, we don't have a date yet. I thought it was set, but it's going to be in June sometime. So that'll be an opportunity, and you can follow that on the East Side Community page when it gets set. So there are opportunities for your young men to work on that, and we'll make sure that they can stay busy. There's enough work in this city to keep them busy. And that is my time. So now, the purpose of this meeting is we are now entering into a discussion on our budget where we will have 5-minute unlimited rounds for all council members. So this is the time to discuss what we've heard and make any proposed amendments. And going forward, is there anyone who'd like to start? A motion is always in order.
We have several resolutions. Are we not going to go resolution by resolution?
We can start with the discussion, or we can start with the resolution. I'm okay with whatever the pleasure of the body is.
The body would like to discuss the resolutions.
Okay. So we will go ahead and go into the consent agenda. Okay, total separation. The first resolution is 250155, adoption of the 2025-2026 master fee schedule. I will entertain a motion.
So what are the motions that are available? Approve, leave here, what are we doing?
Any motion is available.
I would like to make a motion that we leave the adoption of the master fee schedule here.
Okay,
We're in council.
This would stay in council.
We're in council.
We're in council.
So I think we might need to discuss it. So would this go back to finance?
We do need a discussion.
Well, that's what the discussion is for. If you want to make,
Okay, fine, we'll just discuss it here. That's fine. We can discuss it here.
that's what the discussion 5-minute rounds are for. If you want to talk about something in the masterpiece resolution.
Okay, no, I hear what you're saying, but what we're saying is we want to address it resolution by resolution instead of trying to clump it all at the same time. So if we run out of time here, we can just make a motion to add more discussions to each resolution.
All right, that's fine. I'm
Request for
good.
information.
I'm good with that.
Request for information.
Yes,
I interpreted this as we were going to do resolution by resolution with unlimited discussions on each one of those things.
When we set this up, and I did have to have that added into it, it was, I've heard complaints that we didn't have a working session. That's what the discussion time, unlimited time, was the working
Chair,
resolution.
So I'm going to vote against sending it that because that kills discussion. Your motion kills discussion. So,
Right.
Yeah.
But that kills discussion.
That kills discussion.
So
How does it kill discussion if this is a council meeting? This isn't committee.
Because if you refer it to a committee, it kills discussion.
I'm not referring it to a committee. I said leave it here.
Oh, no, that's
still kills discussion.
You need to make a motion to approve.
And then we can change it
Then you can
later.
change it later.
How does leaving it in council has never killed discussion.
When you refer it to another meeting, it kills discussion.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make an amendment to my motion.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 250155-T, which is the adoption of the 2025-2026 master fee schedule.
Is there support?
Support.
All right, any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
And we will have
Mr. Pfeiffer.
unlimited 5-minute rounds until we're done, right? And each one?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
All right. Is it,
You call Phil.
is Phil, you coming up? Phil, you might as well just grab a comfy chair, buddy.
Phil and Paul, come on up. And maybe the city administrator, if he has anything to answer to it. I know.
He ain't got no answer.
We got unlimited 5-minute rounds, so you guys want to walk back and forth and cause more time, then go for it.
I'm going to order that without objection.
What's, I mean, that's what it says in the thing, that's why I interpreted it.
I gotta have it.
Unlimited, ordered without objection. Go ahead, Mr. Moore. and Mr. Pfeiffer.
This is a council meeting, we would have to vote on that, wouldn't we?
No, it's until we're done.
I object, let's vote on it.
Why are you not chairing this meeting?
Okay, there's been objection to the unlimited 5-minute round. So this is a vote to allow unlimited 5-minute rounds per council member. Madam Clerk. It's been objected to by Councilwoman in the 5th Ward.
So I would need someone to actually make that motion.
Okay, would you like to make that motion?
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion that we have unlimited 5-minute rounds.
Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and properly support by Councilman in the 8th Ward to have unlimited 5-minute rounds per resolution. This is the vote.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis is absent. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? No. Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett is absent. The vote is 4 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 4 yes, 1 no. That motion failed. So go ahead and start the time over at 5 minutes, please. Mr. Pfeiffer, go ahead.
So, before my time starts, like, that's what the agenda states. So how does that work? Through you to the attorney. Madam City Attorney, when it's posted on the agenda for unlimited rounds, and that's what the public is expecting because that's what was posted in the agenda, how does that work?
The agenda does state that there is 5-minute unlimited rounds for all council members. You can always vote to amend your agenda.
Point of order. There was a motion made to do it, so that was basically amending the agenda, and that motion failed.
No, the motion was moot because it's already on the agenda, right?
Right.
So there would need to be a motion to eliminate that from the agenda.
You'd have to make a different motion because the motion that was made was what was actually on the agenda.
But at that point, once we moved to do resolutions first, we skipped that part anyway. They had already gone against what was on the agenda.
At this point, I would suggest that you make a motion as far as the order of what you want to do and see if those pass. Because you've already tried to change the 5-minute unlimited rounds, and that is what is on the agenda. So you would need to make another motion.
So, Madam Attorney, are you saying that because it's on the agenda, we should be on the limited rounds?
That is what is on the agenda, yes.
However, point of order, you watched how everything transpired, and the very first part, when we were supposed to do the 5-minute rounds, we all decided to go into the resolutions and do it that way. So that had already struck out what was on the agenda.
The city council, the first part says, it was supposed to, if we remember, go back to our
discussion that we had last Friday. It was supposed to be a discussion item with unlimited 5-minute rounds of discussion per council member before we went into, with possible adoption of the budget and any millages and resolutions that we needed to, in order to pass the budget. So it seems like the wording that's here on the agenda is unclear because we're all, everybody's confused on that. And so it was just supposed to start with a discussion, offering up any amendments if necessary, or to find out information if they wanted to do an amendment, but they wanted to go right into resolutions, which to me bypassed, this was supposed to be like a special order. The council discussion that's before the consent agenda. That was what was supposed to be in the agenda.
But it doesn't say discussion, it says the purpose of the meeting.
It says a city
Purpose
council
of the meeting,
discussion.
so that's the general overview of the entire meeting, from my perspective. The purpose of the meeting is to cover the entire scope of the meeting.
Yeah. Point of order.
The clerk.
Point of order, Madam.
What's your point?
Yeah, we need to be nice today.
I'm not being rude.
I got a
Just
problem with
get what you want.
AT&T on internet and everything. I can go home today. If we can have the clerk and the city attorney work this out the way our agenda should be to allow for that, can they discuss this so we can be back on track? Because she's the official record keeper, and the city attorney has to make sure we're in order and legal. If they can confer with each other,
I'm fine, I just don't want to have 15 million votes and then have one council person decide when you're done asking questions. That's what I don't want.
okay.
That's what the open
Yeah, and I
discussion
know,
was
that's,
supposed to be.
like, to me, it's like one person has the ability to cancel all of that, but that's not what the agenda says, so, Madam Clerk.
We literally started out with him saying he didn't want to do the 5-minute discussion and wanted to go right into resolutions. And so now, because it's going differently.
I did not want to go into resolutions right away.
But we started out with him wanting to do that. And so now that he sees it's going differently, he wants to go back to that.
No, I stated from the get-go that a 5-minute
Excuse me, you
unlimited
do
rounds.
need to be we do have to be in order. I didn't recognize either one of you speaking. So go ahead, Mr. Pfeiffer, go ahead.
I'm just saying, I stated from the get-go that 5-minute rounds was for each resolution item, because that's the purpose of the meeting, and that covers the entire meeting. Because it's not labeled discussion item.
Ms. Gurley.
Can we just have a 15-minute recess so that we can discuss
It's ordered
this?
without objection.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Hold their feet to the fire. That's right. The first thing they do is approve the agenda. They're hopping all over this paper. They only want to approve what they want.
Does that make sense? What we did?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So with this, how do you make reference to this? So can Phil just change the master fee schedule without talking to them?
We can make a motion and change it. Yeah, you can. Go ahead and ask them. It's our, we approve it.
No, it was.
Oh, it's right here too.
It was total separation.
No, you see right here, right? Where it says,
Yeah, when we got.
Someone that won't look me in the eyes when I'm speaking, has a lot of nerve to try and tell me anything.
And you're not talking to her, you're talking to me. So, yeah, we did, she did, and with my she made a resolution. So, well, what we did, we skipped over that because the way it's worded, it's not worded. It's not worded right. So if I was to have discussion for each resolution, 5-minute rounds. Okay, and so.
Layman's terms, we can understand how you skip over this stuff, how you go from this and go straight back to
Go to the resolution. Well, we want to have the 5-minute unlimited rounds for each resolution as opposed to having this, because what is purpose of the meeting? City council discussion on the city of Flint's budget as proposed by Mayor Sheldon Green. Budget discussion will be conducted by way of 5-minute rounds. Well, why would we even do that when we have these resolutions here that we need to discussion? Right. So then we got
this
to
would
that.
be right here. This would be our 5-minute rounds.
Listen, so when we got to the resolutions, Judy ordered it without objection to have 5-minute unlimited rounds for each resolution. And I said, I object. We can't do that. We have to vote. And so we went to the vote. And then we voted because we only had 4 minutes. No, that wasn't, that's not what we voted. We voted, I don't know if you heard the clerk call each of our names, and we voted. And I think, the councilwoman in the 7th Ward voted no for the 5-minute unlimited rounds. Yeah. So we're trying to get that culture.
I tell you what will make me agree to this. Is it for this master fee schedule, we do more than 5-minute rounds. I don't think that's.
Well, it's unlimited. It's unlimited.
No, but what I'm saying is like, what if we get into a conversation and we need to.
That's what,
That's why we said unlimited.
That's why the discussion.
But what I'm saying.
No, so it's supposed to be a special order.
It
And if
was-
you wanted, wait a minute, let me talk. And if you wanted to make changes, that was unlimited time. You could sit there and discuss it. I want to change this, I could change. He could make notes,
But y'all
and
do
then we would be.
understand the way this is worded is bad.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. I've never seen that before.
Yes.
Because he made it seem like we're gonna sit up here and have all this discussion.
Right.
and go into resolution.
Right.
So that's why we said we didn't want to do
And the resolutions are,
Right.
if we got
I've
to.
never seen that before.
That's fine. We can do 5-minute unlimited discussion. I'm just saying somebody's gonna move to the point in those 5 minutes.
Really,
Wait till they get
really
back
and
to
all, I'm gonna tell you, the assessment fees and stuff. The assessment fees and stuff should have been in committee, whereas we could have discussed it in committee and then pass it to council.
We need to speak about at length. Literally, it's this.
Yeah.
That's why I said
Did
we
anything
need more than 5
change?
minutes apiece. No, but we need to have higher fees. Because Dennis and I were both talking about how people changed whole structures in our ward and will only change fine $25. One told they had to put it back. Or he said at his ward they didn't even get fined. So like right here, expanded COZ specified sign refacing. Then right here, expanded certificate for these two. You see it's only $30 and $25? They can change the whole driveway without a permit and they're not supposed to and only be charged $30.
They doing a whole lot more. They going in houses, changing houses without permits.
And they're not supposed to. We not. One, are we really finding them? But then we're not finding them enough.
But we
and
don't
they
have,
change them back.
but we don't have the enforcement. That's the problem.
These fines is what's going to give us more enforcement. It also going to make people not do it so we don't, so they don't have to enforce it. Because there's no way you should be changing whole structures and only pay like $25.
Right.
Because I've never seen this.
That's true. Like they went in that.
This took place tonight. Oh, the next.
Time is now 6:59, and I calling this meeting of the special council meeting back into order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis is absent. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present.
Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Present.
Mr. Jarrett is absent. You have 5 members present.
We have 5 members present.
Madam
Mr.
Chair.
Pfeiffer.
I make a motion to have up to 5 rounds of discussion per each resolution item. Any rounds beyond 5 will require a new vote.
Support.
5 rounds, for how long? 5 minutes?
5 rounds of 5 minutes per each council person. Madam Clerk, did you get that? Okay.
And it's been moved by Mr. Pfeiffer, supported by Ms. Mashat. This is the vote.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. That motion passes. All right, now we're going back into our resolutions, and we have a resolution on the floor that was made by the councilwoman in the 7th ward and seconded by the councilwoman in councilman in the 8th ward. And Mr. Pfeiffer, you have your 5 minutes if you want it, or
Yep.
you want to start over
Nope.
with a different round. Okay,
No,
go ahead.
no. Mr. Moore,
And for those people, this is the master fee schedule. Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, I'm going to switch to immediately to, I guess we can go by line number, right? So
Yes.
start at line number 555. Line number 555, the Mays Senior Center, the fees for that. Who came up with these numbers, and what is a member and what is a non-member? Are we running the senior center like Costco?
The numbers, the fees were generated by Mrs. Wiggins.
Who is
And-
that?
Pardon?
Who is that?
She's the director of the community centers, the senior centers.
When has that position been, when did that position come about?
I'm not sure. It's been a couple of months, probably in March or probably maybe February. Was it like February? Yeah, probably February. That sounds
Okay, so she came up with them based on what?
I think that was very close to what they were charging prior to the city.
Okay, what is a member and a non-member?
I don't think there's any fee for the member. I think you just, because we don't request it, just if you're a regular attender of the center, and I think they just call them members versus those. I really don't know how that works.
Mr.
Edwards.
Mr. Edwards?
Mr. Edwards?
Point of information?
Yes, go ahead.
I think in this case, what it means by member or non-member, because this is a senior center, meaning if it's someone who is not a part of the senior center who wants to rent the facility.
What do you mean? Everybody's a part of the senior center.
No, if they're not a senior, and this is a senior center, so it's hard for them to be a member of a senior center if they're not a senior. So this might mean, like communities or community members, something like that.
It's Mays Senior and Service Community Center. It's not only a
So,
senior center.
so maybe this means non-members of the community, members of the
Rather
community.
than,
Madam-
let's ask a member of the administration. Who in the administration can answer this question?
Mr. Edwards, no? It should say resident then if it was that.
We would probably need Ms. Wiggins here to be able to give you some clarity on
Okay.
that. Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Moore, let me find where it's at. It's the rental inspections. Anybody see where the rental inspections are?
It might not have changed, and this list is, I was gonna say, this list is just the changes, so.
So this list is only the changes, not the complete list?
The complete list should be in your packet. This is just the changes.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Oh, Mr. Moore, the rental inspections that we charge, if I can find it. Line item 74. Line item 74 is a rental license and registration fee for $250. Now, it is my understanding, and maybe the attorney can clear me up, we can't charge a fee unless we provide a service. So what service are we providing in the rental license and registration fee? What service is provided?
We're making sure that the rental facility is safe, up to code, and suitable for habitation.
But that's part of the that's a one-time fee. That the rental inspection is covering that. What service is because the inspection fees below that are on top of that rental license fee. That rental license and registration fee does not include any inspections, so what service are we providing to be able to charge that fee?
I assume that'd be just making sure that's licensed and keeping an eye on it during the year, you know.
Thank you. And next person, who would like to speak next? In the first round, Ms. Burns, you're
Madam,
pushing your button.
Yeah, and I think we're actually in court with that, with the rental fees. And I believe it's back at the state, the guy who won it before. I can't think, I'd have to.
Request for information.
What's your request?
We're in active litigation on that?
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
Through you to the city attorney, is that true?
There is some litigation involving water and being able to turn on the water in different buildings based on the rental and inspection fees.
Thank you. Go ahead.
With us realistically just getting this, and yeah, I'm not voting on this tonight. I'm not even gonna mess around with anybody's time. I'm a no right now because I need to read it. And I'm not gonna take something that I'm just now getting or yesterday and vote. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna waste nobody's time with this administration and my time. I'm not gonna do it. So, I mean, give us some time to read, because I believe it was 17 pages, and then we have an additional landscape for 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, and it needs to be gone over. And so also, if we're talking about questions with the Mays Center, we got the same questions with it was supposed to be the Eric B. Mays Center, and I want to know why it's just made the Mays Center. It's supposed to be Eric B. Mays if we're naming it after someone, and it's not.
Ms. Burns, on Sunday, May 11th, we all received the master fee schedule.
Trying to be smart, okay? She just gave this to me, and here's another thing. Some of this stuff you didn't know was in litigation. And so when we looking at these, and if it was Sunday, May what?
It was Sunday, May 11th.
Yep, and guess what? I'm a mother to 3 children, so I was trying to be
adult children
appreciated by my children. And so, I mean, when you get these, we need time. We need time to read these. You know, and my laptop usually don't work. So I don't care when it comes. I thought I was supposed to get a new one, and it didn't. They keep giving me battery chargers, and it don't work. So my problem is, my issue is it's not only the Mays Center, it is the McKinley Center in addition. So if we don't have, I don't even know who's running the McKinley Center. Who's running the McKinley Center? Through you, Madam Chair, to?
That'd be Mrs. Wiggins.
Okay, so she's running the McKinley Center, and she's running the I'm sorry, it's not the Eric Mays Center, the Mays Center. Okay, how much is she being paid? Because I asked for personal service contracts and I never got them. Nobody knows? They don't know. How is her deputy person being made? Yeah, I mean, I asked for them. I asked for personal service contracts. What are they being paid? What is their job description? What are their duties? If I'm asking and finding out right now that she's running both, and she may be doing a lovely job, but listen, there is so much stuff that we have asked for, and it has not been given. And then I was just told the opioid plan is on page 44. Well, because y'all know I read. I know that, but this is not an opioid plan. This is what's in the opioid fund. A plan is going to include intervention, prevention. It's going to include all aspects of equipment, which now the fire department is requesting for Narcon. We do not have an opioid. This is not a plan. See, when you don't have them 5 votes, stuff can't get just pushed through. I was told I would get an opioid plan. Mr. Moore, I was told that Monday. Do you know what the opioid plan is? Because this is not a plan. This states to me, the opioid settlement fund accounts for the revenues from the lawsuit settlement from the pharmaceutical industry. The fund must use at least 70% of the proceeds toward drug abuse treatment, drug abuse investigations, and related public health purposes. The remaining 30% is unrestricted and how funds can be spent. I know that. Where's the plan? What is the intervention? What is the prevention? How many cases do we have, and what areas are we targeting certain areas? Because I know I have it on Ballinger Highway. 2 deaths, 1 on the church steps. We've got a problem on Fenton Road. They even call Fenton Road Fentanyl Road. So we've got these, where is the opioid plan? And what percentage have we spent on non-30 or up to the 30%? Because we've been spending, not we, that's $75,000.
Anyone else? Yes, Madam Chair. Mr. Moore, question. If we look at this master fee, can you explain to me line 743 through line 748? Community event, level 1. What community event? Is this people wanting to rent? I mean, where does this come from?
This would be for an event being held in the downtown area or some other area where streets are blocked off and city resources such as police officers or street crews are used to block them.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we charge, okay, $500 for if the event has like 20,000 plus in attendance. Okay.
Request for information.
What's your request?
Is there gonna be somebody out there counting people?
Right. That's your job, Pfeiffer. Get that one of them little clickers. Yeah, how do you know how many are in attendance?
It's the best estimate by the organizers of the event, and also based on the size of the event or the area of the event.
Okay, and that is, let me see, is that new?
No.
Did it get, so why is it on this sheet if it's not new?
I don't think it's new.
Did it increase or something?
Is it new?
This new, I think we've charged it in the past.
The
and
master fee schedule.
Let me look at
No,
last year.
it's on the master fee. It does, yeah, it doesn't say that it's new. So so this sheet right here that we have, this is for new fees?
this is for changes in the fees.
Yeah, new or and changes?
Right.
Okay. I don't know. I have to look at this. This is
I've got the
this is a lot.
schedule here.
I mean, we just got the changes today. These changes, right?
While we're here.
Yeah. Madam Chair, I'll reserve my time.
Okay. I'm looking at last year's master. These community event levels, these are the exact same prices last year. I'm looking at last year's budget adoption. Community event level 1, 20,000 plus was $500. Please verify, rather than me going back and forth.
Yeah, why is it on?
5,000 to 19,999, $250. 100 to 4,999, 150. Commercial events, 20,000 plus is 1,000. 5,000 to 1990.
Are you taking your turn?
Just point of information. 500 and then 100 to 49.99, 300.
I'm done. I finished my discussion.
So these rates are the same. Go ahead. Who wants to go next? Yep, go ahead.
So, Mr. Moore, with some of the zoning permit, I just have a couple of questions. So, it's line item 472, which is residential accessory structures and fences. What's included in that other than when we say accessory structures?
That'd just be for the zoning review for new construction or new fences, things of that sort.
Okay, then down here, so in that, which one of these zoning permits includes like driveways or the major restructuring? And the reason I ask is because I had someone change an entire driveway from a regular residential driveway to basically a small commercial lot. They did it without a permit. They weren't required to change it back, and then they were only fined $25. And then when I was talking to Mr. Pfeiffer, he said that he's had several things in his ward where they've made major structural changes without permits and weren't even fined. So I'm just trying to figure out which one of these, and whomever can answer it, covers driveways or major structural changes, because I can share the email with you where they were only fined $25 for making a major structural change.
I know he's just the finance guy.
I've never dealt with that, so I don't really know the answer to that.
Would one of you know which one of these line items covers that?
Request for information.
What's your request?
I can tell you what they told me is they said that a driveway is not covered by any structural code that we have. Because
Building and permit here.
they don't even need a permit because it's not in our level of ordinances for driveways.
So I'm going to tell you why that's different from what I was told, because how do you fine someone for something that you don't have a code for? The people were fined.
It's her turn, not me. I'm not checking it.
Okay. Go ahead.
I had somebody in my
Excuse
ward.
me.
Yeah.
Madam,
Go ahead.
we are here to prepare to answer questions. We're not going to take abuse from other people now. I'm telling you that right now. We're not going to take
who's
abuse
abusing
from
them?
others.
Right.
We understand you folks are entitled to ask questions, but there has to be respect.
I got
There
you.
has to be respect, or we're on our way out. Okay? I want to make sure that's clear.
Point of order, point of order.
What's your point?
I'm saying
Hold on.
that we
Let me-
understand you
let
ask
me-
questions.
I got a point of order, Ms.
Okay.
Edwards. I know you understand.
Yes.
Robert's rules.
Yes.
So are you saying, which I think we're dialoguing about driveways right now.
Yes, you are.
He's saying the audience is being disrespectful.
I'm saying this man is getting
Okay.
comments that have nothing to do with what you guys are asking.
And I
Well,
did not hear
that's
that.
gonna
Thank
be
you.
to- Right, okay. Thank you for.
You said for me,
Thank you.
to talk to the chair, and that's what I did.
Right, so
Right.
Thank you very
Now I
much.
understand the question so that's to the chair.
Yes,
Yeah, 'cause
ma'am.
you were looking at me and I'm like, I
No,
don't know
I'm-
what you were
yeah,
talking about.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
That's-
don't chair no meetings. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
That's to the chair.
Mr. Moore is here to answer the questions to his best of his ability.
Yes.
He does not know all the answers because
None of us
he
do.
was not, this does not relate to anything in
I just
finance.
want you to tell the audience to quit talking to him.
So, please be respectful of our,
Because we're respectful to everybody that's here.
That's
So
true.
They need to be respectful to us.
and so, I will pay more attention to that, and I will make sure that that does not happen. Thank you, Mr. Edwards.
not part of the
Go ahead.
Okay, so, Mr. Moore, and trust me when I tell you, I am probably the last person that's trying to belabor this. However, this fee is important, this schedule is important for us to figure out moving forward, the correct fees that should be charged for different things, right? And so, apparently, we've been told two different things as it relates to structural changes. My colleague just said that they were told there wasn't even a code, but my thing is, if there wasn't even a code or a permit needed, how was the person ever fined? The low amount that they were fined for doing such a huge structural change. And so I do need an answer there of, because I'm sure it's probably covered in here somewhere, we just don't know. And I want to make sure that if it is in here somewhere, that we up that fee to make it make sense. Because if you're making large structural changes like that, and without a permit, it needs to be addressed beyond $30 or $25.
Yeah, I think the one fee that you're looking for was on 55,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
line 55.
555. It's on the old one, okay. I'm sorry, we have two papers here we have to look at.
The five,
Or point,
yeah, go ahead.
can we get one merged list, one that says the changes and then the other one? Because going back and forth, this is ridiculous.
So no, the 555 is a park rental fee for Parks and Recreation. Oh, line 55. I thought you said 555.
Same as new.
55 permit. So it is on there, Dennis. They do have one. And
But the,
But that's only for 1,000.
C line's 18 to 28.
So the average driveway is 15 feet, so unless it's 100 feet long, you're never gonna get it.
either way, none of these cover permit fees, building, new construction, alterations, removal. But even if that is the case, they were still only fined $25, and none of this says that they should have only been fined $25.
Yeah.
And so, is there a way?
I think fines are actually a different part of the ordinance.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So if the fee was part of the ordinance, we need to change the ordinance, and we'll have to look for the
Part of the
ordinance.
enforcement ordinance, that'd be, if it's a fine, it's not gonna be included here. This is for fees.
Okay. All right, so that's why Candace and I had looked for it earlier today. This is my time. Candace and I had looked for it earlier today and couldn't find it. And the questions that we're coming up with now are why I was pushing for getting the master fee schedule with the budget so that we could have it. And I know that there was concern over the water rates and stuff, but it's very important that next year we get this earlier. I mean, we did get it a couple of days earlier. I mean, so I printed it off and I looked at it at home. But apparently some of my colleagues did not. But there is, the big thing, the question is the May Senior in Service Community Center event rental rates. If we could get an explanation on those.
Okay.
So that we can evaluate those. If there's things in here that we want to approve and not approve that, we can do that. I'm not saying that's what we're going to do. I'm just saying off it as an example. Other than that, my questions that I had have been asked by our other colleagues. So I'm going to go ahead and reserve, the ambulance fees are brand new. And is that what we're charging now?
Yes.
Okay. And we do know that there is funding involved in that as well. And, but other than that, I had no other questions, and this is the second round.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Pfeiffer.
Mr. Moore, do we have line item budgeting to see each one of these lines producing revenue?
Yes. Well, no, we don't have, no, we do not have that, because we don't have a line item for each item. I'm not.
Just for instance, I'm gonna circle back to that rental inspection. We don't know how much rental inspection fees we intake?
For rental inspections, we could probably get, but if you know, you have a number of other fees, for the inspection department, and it'd be too many line items for each line to have its own account number.
So in order to track it, we'd have to have an account number?
Well,
so our system can't pull, like, every time, like, something's put on an invoice, we can't track to say.
That we might be able to do. I've never tried to do that for the inspection.
I just threw the inspection out there. I would like to know different items to whether or not, here's my point is, we have all of these fees, and I think that, to my colleague in the 7th Ward's point, if a fine is only $25 and the permit is $140, why would I ever pull a permit? I just come find me, pay $25. So my circling back and trying to make sense of all this, would it make sense to maybe adjust levels of fines up or permit fees down so we get more participation? And try to say, okay, if a permit for a driveway is only $25, would we have more people get the permit and actually get an inspection and get the work done right versus a fee that we're not going to collect on because we can only charge $25 fine? It may, by lowering fees, there's a thought process of lowering fees, you get more involvement, therefore getting more engagement and more revenue. Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying. And when I think about what you're inquiring about, can we get that information? I suspect we can. It just may take a little bit of work to do that.
And to bring it back to the rental fees is, I think that we may have a list of 1,000 rental homes. There's probably 5,000 because people don't pay these fees. Right. So if we drop the rental fee to $100 or whatever makes sense that for the service that we're providing, would we get more engagement versus, the fine is going to be $50 if they ever catch me type of nonsense? Does that make sense?
No, I understand what you're saying. I really haven't looked at the fine side of things.
Because we can put $10 million on this form, but if we don't, if the fine is only $25 for any given thing, and I'm not saying that it is, but if the process of getting, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if we have to find a medium, and if we find these master fees, if we're not collecting on them because we don't get engagement, maybe if we lowered them, a line item for anything, a permit for a sign, if that permit is $140, but nobody pulls that permit and there's no enforcement, maybe if we drop that down to $50, people would say, okay, it's only $50, I might as well go pay it. It's not worth the $150 fine. So until we balance those out, and I don't know what we're collecting and what the fines are, does any of this make sense?
No, I understand what you're saying, and I think it's doable to do that. It'd be a little bit of work.
We're all here for work.
No, I understand.
Like, the ultimate goal for the master fee schedule is to get, to provide a service, one, that it's a safe, clean community and make sure everything's up to code, but it's also to help pay for those services. And if people aren't engaged and don't want to pay for those services, and the repercussions are little or no, or hell, catch me, and we don't never catch anybody, then this master fee is worthless.
Mr. Pfeiffer, on page 47 of our packet, there is a building inspection fund. And that appears to be, is that where all the
That includes everything in aggregate. If you want to buy each
That's an
type of-
aggregate, but that could come from 3-4 different line items.
Right.
Exactly.
It's good, but I'm just saying that's where all the
no, I
fees
understand.
go. That's what it appears to be.
Partly,
But
to answer,
her his
Madam
time is
Chair.
expired. Go ahead.
So I did find the ordinance, and it's ordinance 3774, and it was passed in 2010. The only issue here is it's defined. It says the fines for violations of the code sections listed: first offense $25, second offense $50, third subsequent offense is $150. And I'm just now having a chance to look over, but I don't see anything where it says you fine $25, you have to put it back, or you're fined $25, and then as long as the problem is still a problem where you've not gotten that permit, it's basically just being treated as a first offense when it's an ongoing offense. So, I mean, it's just something I was making public. This is something obviously the body is going to have to change, but I just wanted everybody to be on the same page.
Your time.
Yeah, that's it.
Her time. You done, Ken?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's nothing else I can do, it's ordinance.
Ms. Burns, you acted like you wanted it.
I do, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
So here, Mr. Moore, and it's really, because what I am going to do through you, Madam Chair, to Clyde, I will send you emails about my concerns to give you opportunity to have an answer, because this isn't going to work. I mean, it's just not. And for us to answer building and permit, we really need somebody from that department which is Mike Ryder. And we need department heads, not you, Mr. Moore, because you are the CFO, but you simply do not run those departments, day to day, in and out. And it's really not fair to you. You are not Mike Ryder. Not disrespectfully.
You're 100% right.
Right, you are the CFO and everything goes to you, but you really need department heads. So what I will do is take my time. I need a couple days. I don't put no meeting on here in 2 days, because I'm gonna read very slow, so I can take my time, so that we can have a budget meeting that we can, with intent on passing it. In regards to getting this on Sunday, yes, I am a mom with 3 children. Don't send me nothing on Sunday. I'm not doing that. And then the remark was made with 3 grown children. Yep, I don't care if they was 45 and I was 90. Those are still my kids.
I know that's right.
And so Mother's Day is a day off, which for the first time I didn't do anything, because I didn't have cable and internet and didn't know it hadn't worked, because I'm never home usually, because I'm busy. And when I get home, I don't want to hear nothing but silence. And so making the remarks, my children are absolutely and doing very well. To God be the glory. So I will prepare this for you, Mr. Edwards. Give me, what's today, Wednesday? Technically to the first, give me some time, because I read, and I know the intent with what I took my oath is to pass the budget, and there's some serious questions. And maybe we can I have questions with how these centers, this is the first year that we're actually taking the centers back on, because emergency management stripped them from us. And for us taking them on, I want to know the budget, the financial goal, and it's 2 centers. I want to know what she's being paid. I want to know what her deputy is being paid. I want to know what their job description is. I want to know There are things that I want to know, and especially since the county said they didn't give us any money. They didn't give us any, and so since we don't have that, you know, I want to know what, because that's taking on debt, because we're paying, and we don't know if they're getting fringe benefits either, and how many is on this staff, because we didn't have this before. Now we do. Then I'm looking at this, and look, I love my seniors, because Ms. Hazel Miller came out on me on El Dorado with her pocketbook to get me together today, but she gave me a hug. And so when we're looking at this, these are community centers. And so we've got, if you're a senior, you get charged $100. You know, if you're a non-member, $450, a member, $350. I think we need to, I don't know what those, I think we need to look at the fee legality to that to make sure we're in a line, because people will say, you age discriminating. If it's a city property, can we vary those, you know, by your age? I'm a senior now, so I'm a wonderful $100. And you know, can we vary these? I think we need to look at these. I am concerned about those, but I will put those into it. Yes, take care of our centers, but these centers are not just for children. I mean, for seniors. We have children and other things. I think the Flint watershed is going to be at the McKinley Center, which is the McKinley Center being used now? I know Attorney Trishelle Young had an event there. Was that the only event there?
It's not being used.
It's not being used? Okay. And so I would love to see you. It has a beautiful setting. It's a beautiful setting that's there on Thread Lake. And that part of Flint could really use something where people can gather. And it's not just a senior center, it's a community. So in her job description, it should say, I don't know, community centers, senior centers, activity centers. I want to see what her contract looks like. And and she's probably doing a great job, but I want to know what it is she's doing, because she's managing 2 properties that we never had managed in the past, 15, 16, how many years? We didn't have managed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, you're gonna send him questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
That I've been working on. Now I'm gonna add to with this master feed too, so they'll be able to answer.
Oh, okay. Can I get the answers to that too? Because I don't wanna be redundant. Because I also wanna know, where is the funding coming from?
Right.
You know, how are we gonna pay for these centers? I see on the master fee schedule that we're charging for rental, but you know, how are we gonna pay for salaries, gas and light bills and things like that, operation bills? This is a lot. Madam Chair, I don't know, I think I have colleagues that still have questions, but we cannot get answers. So, should we?
We can send it to finance.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion that we send the master
250155.
250155, the master fee schedule, send it to finance.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to send 250155 to finance. Is there support?
Support.
It's been supported by the councilwoman in 6th Ward. This is the vote to send 250155 to council.
Madam Chair, I think you said send to council.
Excuse me, to finance.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
5 yes, 0 no. And if we could have all your questions to Davina, who can send it to the appropriate department, and then their responses back, and then we can discuss it next week. Thank you. All right, our next resolution is 250156. Assessment street lighting costs fiscal year 2026.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion on the floor from the councilman in the 8th ward to
Support.
approve. It's supported by the councilwoman in the 7th ward. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, where am I? Give me 1 second. So, what's the, don't have it in front of me. What's the, account balance in this street lighting account? Do you have
This
that?
fund has a very healthy fund balance.
What's that?
It has a very healthy fund balance right now.
I'm sorry, I can't.
The fund has a very healthy fund balance at this point. It's probably
You said very healthy fund?
probably I'd estimate about 50% of the annual cost is in the fund balance right now.
Okay, okay. I guess I'm questioning why aren't we then lowering it? Because we just approved $2 million to basically cut our bills in half. And if we're saying we're already 50% over budget, or 50% over.
Well, that's been built up over time.
Yeah. But if we already have 50% of what we need to cover in, I'm gonna say in surplus in the account.
Mr.
and-
Pfeiffer, page 40 of the budget book.
I'm sorry, page what?
Page 40.
Thank you. Thank you. So, it seems to me I mean, unless I'm reading this wrong, we have close to a full year.
Yeah, that's correct.
We have close to a full year, and we just put 2 million of ARPA into replacing the LED to drop our consumer's payment allegedly in half. So why aren't we lowering this to give the residents a break on that if we have all this extra money in this account?
At this point, none of the new streetlights have been installed.
No, I get that, but if we have a surplus of $6 million, $6.6 million, and the budget or the expenses are only $3 million a year, that's actually 2 years. Judy, correct me if I'm wrong, if we have 6.6 million and our expenditures are only 2.9, that's excess of 2 full years of surplus in this account, and we're going to reduce it by 50% by approving the LED through ARPA funds. It seems to me like we're gonna have a hell of a lot of money in this. Why not reduce it?
Miss, if you don't mind.
Yeah, if I'm reading this wrong.
Actually, the gentleman who is in charge of this program happens to be a friend of mine, so I know a little bit. And it's gonna take probably minimum until next year, next fiscal year,
No,
for
I
us
know
to
that.
see a result of it.
But
And
if we have- but if we have-
wait a minute, we also want to add more streetlights, and those were not included in that ARPA, and that would come out of this fund balance.
But
that's all I'm saying, that's all I know.
if we're going to reduce our bills by $1.5 million a year, I mean, I'm just doing crazy math because I'm wicked smart. If we have 2 full years, if we stopped collecting money from the residents on the street lighting, we have 2 full years that we could pay for that. And if we're going to save $1.5 million, I mean, how many streetlights are we going to put in? I mean, what are we gonna, because if we see a full year in this, in this budget, and your forecast shows us spending more money, which boggles my mind if we just submitted $2 million for a cost to cut our bills in half. How are we gonna spend more money? I think that this street lighting fund budget that you put together is worth less than the paper it's printed on. I'm just wondering how, at what point, at what fund balance in the street lighting are we looking to get before we cut funds, or before we cut the expenditure to the city or to the residents? It doesn't make sense.
Refrain from clapping. Thank you very much. You are disrupting this meeting. Anyone else who'd like to speak in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Moore, I know last year we did lower the street
We
lighting
did.
assessment cost, correct?
Yes.
By how much?
It wasn't very much. It was less than $1 a year.
Was it
Or no,
less than
It was
$1?
about $10 a year, I think was what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's around $10 a year that, for a resident, we reduced.
How many dollars a year? I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
We reduced it by approximately $10 a year for the
You
residents.
said 10?
10.
Okay. Well, this says it's the same as last fiscal year, correct?
Right.
I do have one question though, because I know, and we were doing assessments, but I know that there are, and I stumbled upon this in trying to get a light in a certain location where the city wasn't aware there was no longer a light there, but we were paying for that.
Yeah.
And so where are we on our assessment with the lights that we're paying for? And if the lights actually exist in those locations?
I don't know if the census has taken place, but I do know that we have staff that's talking about taking a census of all the lights, making sure they're all working.
Mhm.
I don't know the status of the census, though.
Okay. Is there any way, I don't even know, is that even in your wheelhouse of things that you're supposed to know? Is there any way that we could, Mr. Edwards, get an answer to that? And you send it to the city clerk and she can just send it to all of us? I'm just trying, because I know we started doing the assessment last year to figure out, with all the lights that we're paying for, if they actually work, if there's actually a light present to even work. And so I would like to know where we are with our assessment of streetlights. Thank you. I yield.
In the first round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I have a question. In regards to streetlights. One of the problems that I see, and I think it would kind of, eradicate the blight problem we have, is that we have blocks on the north end that do not have streetlights. And I know the reason why they do not have streetlights is because the houses have been demoed. So, but one of the things that I think would help with our blight problem is that if we light this city up with lights, is there any way possible, and I heard someone say that we're supposed to get some more lights. With these lights, where are these lights gonna go? The extra lights?
The plan is to overlay where the existing lights are with the crime maps, and then see which areas are are still dark with high crime rates, and light up those areas first.
The areas that I'm referring to?
Right. Well, I
Okay.
don't know. It'd be if there's a high crime rate in that area, we'll try to light that up first.
Yeah, because there's a lot of dumping. I'm thinking about streets like Newell. There's a whole block where there's no houses and no street lights. White Street, those streets. We need to light those streets up because they're dumping. Every day they're dumping. And when it's dark, that's when they go and dump their loads. And I think that would help with the dumping issue that we have throughout the city. So I would hope that the extra lights that we're supposed to get, I would hope that those lights are going to be put in those areas. I yield, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, thank you. What department is street lights in? 'Cause I know Suzanne, is it planning development, or who handles that?
Ashley Harris is leading up this project. And she's in planning and development.
So, yeah, and I'm asking us to put it on the record, I know.
Okay.
And so if we, and no disrespect to Mr. Edwards, if we want to move through these, we need department heads here. This is budget time. So if we can have a meeting and maybe we can, break this down into sections so that all department heads don't have to be here. Because street lighting is an issue. And as my colleagues, people ask, how do you get a new light if you need one? How do you get one? Everybody want their street lit up. Look, include me. So, but how do we get, and I think it'll make it transition easier if we do this and have, which parts of the budget that we can ask people, we needed to ask Mike Ryder, we needed to ask Ashley. So as we're going through, these resolutions should have the people from those departments here, because they're gonna have questions. I mean, everybody is. Anybody know how to get a new street light on their block? A new pole with a...
If I may.
Yes.
We did have budget hearings, and these were provided in our packets. And if you did not come to those hearings where these were discussed, then I don't really appreciate the thought of bringing them back when we had the opportunity. No, I am not. I am not done.
Okay,
You may pause your time.
No,
you may pause your time.
Because what I'm gonna do is go home. You are a terrible chair, and I'm asking him a question. You got 5 people. You flexing when you have no flex right now. If I'm asking, it is a reasonable thing to say nicely to Mr. Edwards.
Finish.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
We had hearings where members of the department heads were all present. And I've stated and reiterated many times, questions put in writing, submit to the department heads, as well as Ms. Donahue, our Madam Clerk, sent an email to all council people asking for your questions.
Point of information. Point of information.
What's your point?
First, do you realize that you're taking the floor?
Took it.
You took the floor. She didn't ask for your input.
Sure didn't.
She
I'm
was
the chair.
speaking.
I can
she
do
was
that.
speaking,
It's part of my
and
chair.
she can't speak on her time.
Yeah.
Madam Chair,
What?
request for information.
What's your request?
Madam Chair, with all due respect, these resolutions with the streets lighting was not part of that. Those are budget hearings for departments.
But
this is not part of a department per se. This is for mills.
Right, I was going to say that.
Go ahead and start a time.
Okay, so, and I'm going to tell you, Mr. Edwards, and it's respect. You and I have always been respectful. Maybe one little incident, and we talked about it. I'm not going to, she's playing defense. I'm going home. But as we're going through these, can you please have the department heads here so that we can ask? And for the record, she don't get to tell me what I can ask, or I can only ask certain questions at certain times. It's not her job. I get to ask, and I was respectful to you. And it's reasonable, because in budget times, you can have, and it should be rules suspended, so we can have open dialogue. And that's my choice, so that we can move through, because we have a budget adoption day. It's the first Monday of June, or Tuesday.
That's correct.
Right. And so if we're doing this in a transparent way, she gonna stop blocking me. So we're getting ready to lose quorum. We don't have the department heads, and y'all need to talk to her. And if without department heads, we got the trash coming up over that department. We need them here. Budget time, before she was the chair, We have had department heads here up until, and it's just a mute, so we can move it through. We have other colleagues who are not here. They're not here. Whatever their reasons may be, they're not here. And so we have 5 people who are here. And she talking slick. And I'm not having it tonight. You know, we could she keep talking underneath her breath, okay? She keep doing it. And so when we're saying how many questions, look, people want to know. This resolution is tonight. She don't get to tell me I can't. This is tonight. This was on here. The time and place for this meeting is tonight with the date on the front of it. So if we can have them, because I'm looking at how we're going through, and I just want the people here so we can make it easier for you. I did tell you I will go through, have my other questions, but there are some questions we do need the department heads to be able to answer, because Mr. Moore doesn't, and it's not fair. He doesn't work in those departments daily. He's over them like you are. You're over him. But I think we just have to be fair and getting good answers and being able to ask as many questions. I don't care if I ask this 25 times, I might be, I want the answer. That's my choice. It's my choice. So I don't see us getting anywhere. I'll stay if my colleagues want to go through this, but we don't. Yeah, go ahead.
If I may.
Yeah.
That, typically through this process, the administration would be providing people, but usually, since I've been here, because we've had the hearings, we usually get to this point, and the council itself debates the pieces and debates what's going on. So that's the only reason they're not here, because we bring the CFO out of an awareness to be here for this process.
And we couldn't make it to all the meetings because they didn't ask us if we were available.
I wasn't.
She made that schedule.
I wasn't. I mean, from my standpoint, that's a council business.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I wasn't. I'm just saying, from the administration standpoint, we made it a point to make sure through the budget process we provided all of the department heads. So usually when we get to this stage, it is a matter of council itself debating what they've already heard or what they've already understood. But I have no problem with, if you set a meeting again, department heads will be available to answer questions.
I did give leeway for the answer. Anybody in the second round? You can continue, Ms. Burns, in the second round. Oh.
Okay. Mr. Moore, for the streetlight budget, you have that in front of you?
I didn't hear what your question was.
The streetlight fund.
Yes.
Do you have that in front of you?
I do.
Okay. Fiscal year 23, I'm looking at the revenue. Fiscal year 23 was 2.6 million. You agree?
Yes.
Fiscal year 24, 3.05 million. You agree?
Yes.
How do we plan on getting an extra $500,000 for the fiscal year 25 budget? How did we come up with that number?
That's last year's budget. I don't remember the process. We did not revise it when we set the rate.
Well, I'm just wondering, because it's like
we're not going to hit the
15%. How are we going to collect 15% more revenue?
We're not going to collect 15% more revenue in 2025 because we did not change the revenue estimate when we changed the millage or the special assessment last year.
So this budget is you're saying is the budget that you submitted last year is just a copy paste from the year before?
No, what I'm saying is that the budget for the for the property taxes from last year, after we submitted it, the city council reduced the.
We didn't reduce them. Well, we
reduced the special assessment for people. And when you reduce the special assessment, we didn't go back and change the revenue estimate.
So these budget numbers are incorrect? These budget numbers are incorrect?
The 25 ones are, yes.
Okay. So Who's dinging?
Whoever's phone is ringing, please
So
silence
if we,
your phone.
is the fiscal year 26 an inaccurate estimate?
Based on, yeah, well, based on what we have, yes.
Okay, so based on what we have, so if we skip over 25 because I'm pretty sure those numbers are incorrect. I
Yes,
mean,
they are.
So if we say 24, we go from 3 million to 26 is basically 3 million. So we're saying that that's pretty close to being the same,
Yeah.
right? You agree?
Right, yes.
24 and 26, we're saying those on paper should be somewhat the
That's
same.
close.
What are we spending, if we jump down to expenditures, what are we spending an additional $1.4 million on?
That was for replacing some of the streetlights. That's different than, not the Cobra heads that we're talking about, but for, I believe it's the decorative lights, if I remember right. What? Yeah, some of the decorative lights are scheduled to be replaced.
1.5 million worth?
I believe so. I believe that the big increase would be the lights there.
So how would we know what is planned in those dollars? You're saying that there's decorative streetlights in that number. I'm hoping there's other streetlights as well, but how would we find out what makes up that $3.8 million?
When we had the budget hearing, we provided a detailed line item budget.
Of the streetlights?
For the streetlights.
Can I get a copy of that?
Yes, sir.
Could we all get a copy of it?
I mean, because expenditures are normally, I'm gonna say 2.4, and now you're saying they're gonna be 3.8. I'd like to know where that 1.4
Okay.
million is gonna be spent.
All right, that's fair.
And we're also gonna spend 1.4 in 27 as well?
I don't know that. For 27, we pretty much copy over from 20.
I don't understand why we just copy and paste. If there's no plan, then there's no plan. Just throw numbers and do copy and paste. To me, that is doing more of a disservice because it's almost like, okay, we're just gonna throw it on paper because nobody's gonna look at it anyways.
Is there anyone else in the second round? Seeing none, looking at this budget and looking at the expenses, I don't see the detail in my packet from the budget hearings of the streetlight fund. I just have general fund.
Okay. I'll get it for the whole council.
Okay, that'd be nice, because I know, I looked at all the details when we were doing the budget, and,
Request for information.
what's that?
So you said that you don't have that, the detail?
The detail, yeah, I don't see it in my packets.
Okay, so
I
you
think
mean that wasn't at budget hearing?
I believe it was at the last one that we had when Rod Magaha was.
It might have been attached to something, and I
Yeah.
didn't see it in my quick glance. If it was with Rod, then I'll look. I'll find it. I'll go through each page, but they're stapled together. So, but yeah, that was passed out at budget hearings. So maybe we do want to consider reducing that by a couple of bucks, because I know last year's budget you were here new, and you had the audit and everything. It was very difficult.
Bottom line, that's a political decision. I'm comfortable with that.
Right, okay. So, and I think that one of the things that we need to change in the charter is removing the budget being presented to council in December. We haven't even done 6 months of the budget at that point, and I just think that's just a cut and paste thing. So, on the street lighting, I think that's something that we need to look at, is, because I don't remember any questions on that, so I could be wrong. Any other discussion in the second round? How about a third round?
Here, real quick.
Go ahead.
Mr. Moore and Mr. Edwards, I don't know if I am going to be an advocate for lowering it, or I would want a plan on how we're going to use this money. If we're not going to use this money and light up the city like a runway at an airport, then yes, we need to reduce the funds. But if we don't have a plan of, we need to add 1,000 streetlights or 500 or whatever the number is, and what that cost is, to me, we're just throwing darts at numbers. So either we need to have a plan and say we need to spend X amount of dollars because we need 1,000 streetlights and it's going to cost this, or, you know, we keep it as it is and the savings from the ARPA fund, that's what's going to fund it. But to me, we've got a crime problem, we've got a blight problem, and we've got $7 million in the bank that can help that, and we ain't doing jack crap with it. So we either need to reduce the fund to help the residents, or we need to come up with a plan on how we're going to light up the city to use these funds, because the residents paid for this with all these assessments, and we are just doing nothing with the money. And I think there's some frustration on especially the north end and dark spots and dumping and high crime spots. We have the money, let's fix the problem, but if we're not going to fix the problem, let's give the money back. That's where I'm at. Thank you, Madam Chair.
My reports. Is there any other discussion in the third round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I'm in agreement with Councilman Pfeiffer. If there's a savings and no plan, I think we need to look at that, because, well, they dump in the daytime. I had another trailer dumped in the daytime today in my ward, literally. So if we don't have a plan, a lot of these like to light it up, because that is something that residents do. If we're taking that and using it, and I'm going to talk with, whenever this, with I've got a meeting coming up to really get a gauge on what residents, because they always say, we want it lit up, it's so dark. And so if we can add, especially in high crime areas, that the data shows there are issues, I think we need to really be targeting that, because the police department has that data. Am I correct, Mr. Edwards, with the data? So with the data, that the police does have the data, and it's called what, spot? Crime, yeah, and it's called spot policing? I think that's what it's called. Right, and it'll show where we have areas. And I don't think, like, residents, they want it to go down. And if we could take some of those areas and use that to light up, just like Councilwoman Murphy Carter was saying, she's got areas, it's dark, and especially some areas which I know we're redeveloping, where we have new things like the apartments or the townhomes. Streetlights may not be there, but to take that, you know, and use it, I think that we really, there needs to be a plan with, like, if you're not using the money, why don't you, and it has to be feasible. You know, why, if we're saving it, or other than just saying, I cut street lighting. You know, why did you cut street lighting? Because we have a problem. They like to do stuff when it's dark, you know, and where it's dark. And so with Councilman Pfeiffer, we need a plan. If you're cutting it, where's the plan? And what is your plan to light up the city? Because if you have a plan to light up the city, you will need this money. I mean, if you lighten up the city, you're gonna need some money. They're not just popping up those poles and lights for free. So I think there has to be a plan, not think there does, other than saying we cut street lighting. And you got people saying crime is bad, we need to light up the city. You know, and even driving, you know, in the evening, it's dark. I mean, it's dark. You know, and it's not as populated, because if you even driving on residential streets, used to be you would have on some of these residential streets people with the light poles with the big globe, so the street was more lit up. And that was that was like the neighborhoods to show pride in your community, so your street wasn't as dark. These streets are dark. Not only are they dark, you got sinkholes and manholes. Literally, manhole covers are being, removed I know my ward. So I think, what plan do we have to, if we're taking the money, what plan do we have to light up the city? And how are you going to light the city up? Because that needs to be done. How much is the assessment for street lighting per house? 72 a year? So if we divide that by 12, we looking at, look, thank you, Paul. So we're looking at $6 a month to light up the city per resident. And that should be in a light up the city plan. I don't think people would turn that down, because what they are tired of is crime. We're tired of crime. So I'm with Councilman Pfeiffer and Councilwoman Winfrey Carter on that. We need to have a plan if we're taking it. And I hope that plan is light the city up, reduce crime, and it could be part of the comprehensive public safety plan to reduce crime. I yield, Madam Chair.
Any other discussion in the third round? Seeing none, so Phil, I did not find it.
Okay.
What I had in my bag was the water and sewer.
I'll make sure you have it.
Okay, yeah, because I put everything in my folder except for the last hearing. All right, thank you very much. All right, going on to the, yes, go ahead. Okay, there's a motion on the floor by the councilman in the 8th ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 7th ward, to send to finance. This is the vote.
Hold on.
Yep, we need Ms. Jerry Winfrey Carter to come and vote. Thank you. Send to finance. Okay, this is the vote to send resolution 250156, assessment street lighting costs, fiscal year 2026, to finance.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. That will be sent to finance. The next one is is resolution 250157, user fee municipal solid waste costs for fiscal year 2026. What is the pleasure of the body?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilwoman in the 8th ward to approve. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by the Councilwoman in the 6th ward. Discussion.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Pfeiffer.
Mr. Moore, did, or maybe Judy, did the $2 million ever pass this body to? Oh,
Yes.
It did? Okay. So,
Is she scared?
so this year, the rates are gonna stay the same. Next year, we're probably gonna have to raise.
I would think so, yes.
Yeah. Oh, how did we get here? How did we get here? I don't even know where to go on this one, guys. This is the revenue. The state revenue for fiscal year '24, that was the grant for the carts, right?
Yes.
So that really doesn't even count. So, do we gotta go back to? I'm trying to figure out what our actual revenue is going to come in at. Is our revenue that we're going to actually get going to be closer to 23 actual? Because I'm trying to figure out if we're not raising, and I know we're probably losing more parcels than we're gaining, so how is the revenue going up? So I'm trying to figure out, is the revenue in 23 more close to accurate? Because I don't know how you are proposing, because I'm going to say the fiscal year 25 of 6.9, I'm thinking that's a, no pun intended, but pun intended, that's a garbage number.
This is a very hard number to estimate.
No, I know that. So the fiscal year 23 is basically 6 million. I want to know how the fiscal year 25 we're saying is going to be 7 million. We don't have, doing the math on that, that's a hell of a lot more parcels coming online. That's not an like, I can promise you we have more parcels dropping off than we do coming aboard. So how do we have more revenue, sir? Paul, if you want to step up to the microphone and bail him out, give me something.
Yeah.
So without you having to go into the weeds or anything else, I'm going to go back to my original statement. Is fiscal year 23 number of barely 6 million a more accurate number?
23 is going to be the actual number, the actual dollars that we counted as revenue.
Right. So I'm saying those numbers that are counted as revenue.
And 24 is also actual.
And if you'll notice, 26, which is the budget we're talking about now, is actually in line with the 24 actual number. The 25 number.
So how did we have 450,000 more come on board between 23 and 24? Like doing the math at $200 a parcel, the math don't math.
This is a tough number to estimate because part of.
But why are we estimating it when these are allegedly actual numbers?
24 is actual.
I understand that, but why did we have such a lower number in 23 then?
Because part of the problem that you have is that not everyone pays their special assessment. The county then, when we settle up with the county, they reimburse us. Then 3 years later, they look back at who's they've either collected from or they've seized the property from. And that varies from year to year depending on what's happening with the
So you're
tax
saying
collection.
we got more money from the county on back fees?
It depends on, the clawback is the tough part, because you don't know how much is going to be clawed back 3 years later.
Madam Chair. Thank you. So, Mr. Moore, couple of things. So we had this conversation last year.
Yep.
So, and I think we had the guy here from Priority. So we receive premium services, is what he said, for trash. And in order to lower that, either we'd have to lower the services that they give to us, or we would be basically receiving, coming this July, residents will receive a tax bill for $202.56, right?
Correct.
So So it's a special tax assessment for that. So we took the 2 million from ARPA to balance it for 2 years, but residents will get a new bill July, because we have premium services. How much was the other companies? Do you ever know now that were cheaper, that didn't win this bid? Does anybody?
That was before we were here.
Okay, you don't know. Okay. So this July, residents can expect that. Here's my other question. The re-rig was $260,000 cheaper. And we didn't take that. That was for the trash cans, trash carts, and we didn't take that. We did not. And so when we're looking at where there could have been,
Ms. Williamson, this is your first warning. Thank you.
Why would she get a warning? You just giving out warnings?
Continually interrupting this meeting.
She's just talking.
That's right.
Why would
and
she
it's
interrupt
and
you? You
sh-
should be paying attention to what's going on up here.
I am paying attention.
You just giving out warnings?
So Mr. Moore, if we don't have ARPA to put in here anymore. So will residents expect every year in July to get on top of their taxes a bill of $202 or approximate to balance that?
For in 2026.
Is it a 5-year contract with them? Because
we had a 5-year contract, yes.
Yeah, which I did not vote for. And so will residents will we have this tax bill every year?
We will be paying at least the 202, I imagine.
Okay.
And in 2026, we're proposing to keep the same rate that you have currently. 2027, we're going to have to revisit and figure out what we're going to do at that point.
Okay, and so has anyone talked to him about lowering services? He went to saying that would be maybe trash pickup, the frequency wouldn't be. This is where I say, when they said, why you do budgets, you forecast out to make sure and it was before you. I've heard that there were problems before. I don't know what Mr. Whittigan did. I don't know, but I guess there were problems before he left us. Then we had Jane, then we have you. And so it's really a lot for you to catch up on. So we will have, on top of the taxes, a special assessment. And this is what we talked about last year when they kept saying we would not. And you actually, and it's on video, you and I had dialogue.
Yeah, we did. But this year, we can provide the same level of service for the same fee that we're charging right now, and that should cover the cost. And that's what we are recommending.
So in here, it states July, in our resolution, that in July, on your July 2025 tax bill, I believe we're going to be charged $202.56 to be charged to residential and multifamily dwellings up to 4 units.
Correct.
Yeah, we had this last year, and they kept trying to say that it wasn't true. It was true. It was true. And so, we're stuck with a company we can't afford. We can't. And this was the thing, what I was stating last year. We couldn't afford them. And it's nice that, premium services, we can't afford it. No, and I get where people say, and they're missing trash. We all probably get calls about trash being missed in our wards and coming late and so on. That happens. But this is a negative balance, and that's why they're getting a tax assessment, because we have a premium service we cannot afford. And we got to do this up for another, 5 years? And that was he got a no-bid contract too, as a matter of fact. The contract wasn't even bidded out to get those additional years. It was not bidded out to get the additional years. So we stuck with a portion of a no-bid contract because somebody likes, so I don't, this is, okay. That's my time, thank you.
Yeah, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Moore, with this waste collection, and I'm thinking about these bins, these waste collection bins, the bins that we have for the garbage and the bins for the recycling. How much extra did it cost for Neely's name to be on all of these bins?
I don't think there was any additional charge for that. That was just,
Pardon me?
there was no additional charge for that.
No
It cost-
additional charge?
Right.
And you sure about that?
They, all they care about, whatever.
So what was the deal?
Pardon?
What was the deal?
I think it has the name of the city and I think our logo, if I remember right. And whatever you have, it doesn't matter what the city had, there's one charge regardless of whatever you put on it, so.
His name shouldn't have been on those bins. That's campaigning, in my opinion. His name shouldn't have been on those bins. So you're saying that there was no additional charge for his name to go on those bins?
Yeah, the charge we had was just for whatever's on that one side, whatever we put in that area, there's just one cost for that.
It was just one cost?
Right.
What was the one cost?
Oh, I don't remember that. I'd have to go.
Can I have that in writing, the one cost, the cost of those bins?
I'm not sure. I don't think it was worded like that, but I'll see what I can find for you on that.
Yeah, because that had to be an additional cost, I would think, for his name to be on all of those bins. You know, really, in all, the only thing that should have been on the bins was the city of Flint and our logo, along with the number per dwelling, you know, and that should have been all that was on those bins. Okay, I don't know. So answer this question, and I'm looking at the revenue line for waste collection for fiscal year of 2025, whereas it says 8.9 million, and then for the proposed budget for 2026, we go down to 6.4 million. Explain that.
Was a $2 million transfer in 2025.
Okay, the 2 million that we just
Yes.
Voted on. Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't see that. Well, I forgot about that. Okay, the transfer in. All right. So, the fee was the same for last year as well, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, what year was that? And I don't know if you know this, or I know one year we did go up on the waste collection fee. It went up tremendously.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't here when that occurred, but
Yeah.
we can find that information if you desire.
Okay, I'll have to dig and go back and see if I can find it too. All right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other, Ms. Bichette? Did you have any questions? Okay. I'm going to take a few minutes. We talk about the price of our trash collection, and I actually have a friend in another municipality who doesn't understand budgets well, and so she has me go through their budget with her and explain it. And one of the things that we've looked at is the trash collection. And in this municipality, their annual cost is $206.46 per year. And they only have recycling every other week. So for what we're paying, we're getting more service in this other municipality. So I just want to point that out, and this is not increasing our taxes. It's the same price as it has been the last 2 years at least, if not 3. So, and that, they actually have a bill for that, and it doesn't go on their taxes, but that is their charge. And anybody in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I don't think you can, I don't think you can do apples to apples to what other people pay, because they might be half a mile in between houses. So unless you're populated like we are, we get a volume discount. So, and was the option of every other week recycle, was that even brought forward to try to save us money? I don't think it was, because I think that the residents would have allowed, every other recycling if it didn't raise their taxes. Mr. Moore, just by my back of the napkin math, it looks like next year we're going to have to raise the tax fee by approximately 15%. So go from 202 to 230. And those are my numbers, just looking at what's in front of me. So with that being said, are we doing anything to verify the number of houses that they're actually picking up on? Because we're paying for 33,820, and I've been asking since I've been sitting in this seat, is that an actual accurate number? Because they're saying, they could be picking up at 29,000 houses, and we're paying 4,000 more in revenue. How do we know what those numbers are? How can we track them? Cross-reference them to get an actual number?
We periodically go out and count.
I'm sorry?
Periodically, we go out and count the number of houses.
You're saying it's pretty hard to go out and count?
It is hard, but we do it periodically. I don't know when the last time that occurred, but I do know that they do go out periodically and count the number of houses.
Point of information. During budget hearings, Heather said they were doing it this fall.
But so if they're doing it this fall, when is the last time it's been done? Because the trash contract is based on this number that somebody made up. So the past 3 years, if they do that this fall in September, or whenever the hell the numbers come in, and the numbers come in at 30,000, and we've been paying 33,000 for the life of this contract, are they going to give us a 3,000 credit? 3,000 houses times $200 is a lot of money. And we're paying that year on and year on and year on. I mean, who knows? They could be leaving money on the table. I don't think it's more than that number, but if it's 35,000, to me, there's a reason why they're not challenging that number, because they know that number that we're paying for that is more than they're picking up. And the longer we wait, and if we wait till this fall or whenever to go out and actually coordinate these numbers, to me, they're going to say, whoa, we're going to need more money if the numbers are down. These numbers are elevated, and they know it. So, Mr. Edwards, if there's anything possible we can do to escalate that count, because to me, that count is going to be detrimental to how much these numbers need to raise next year. Because if we go by this imaginary count, I think I'm pretty accurate. We got to raise by at least 15%. Just the deficit of $700,000 a year, in order to make that up, we're going to have to raise by approximately 15%. And I'm saying, do we have to just blindly raise by 15%, or we do an actual count and we only got to raise by 10%? That's where I'm trying to get at for next year. And the longer we continue to overpay on this contract, the more it's going to bite us in the end, because priority is going to come back and say, no, it's based on this amount. If you reduce the amount, then I'm going to have to charge more per house. And I hope that's not the way our contract is written. I'll yield.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Real quick, Mr. Moore, it does state, and I don't know if you knew, and Councilman Murphy Carter was looking at it also, and we had discussion, recycling is supposed to be bi-weekly, and it's stated in the budget, but it is weekly. Is this a discrepancy?
Yes.
Okay, so that is not in there. And through you, Madam Chair, to the city attorney, Attorney Gurley. Attorney Gurley, could you please, I am requesting a legal opinion on, can you use taxpayers' money to put your name on trash cans, shirts, signs? Can you do that? Because we got his name, if he's not there in 26, we got trash cans, shirts, and signs with his name on them. If we could please get a legal opinion, because I watched and read, I think the Super Mayor Tiffany Henier did that, and she got in trouble for it. You can't use those, so we get a legal opinion, because people are sporting shirts with his name on them now in departments. Nice shirts, but his name shouldn't be on them. So if we could get a legal opinion on that, because that's a big issue. And so, like I said, the bi-weekly is a discrepancy. My colleagues have asked some questions, and I will go back through, but I do want to know about that, because there had to be, when we talk about, a die had to be made, was a stamper to put on those trash cans. And they charge per line when they do those. And when they do that, they make that die and they stamping them out. There is no other municipality that has the mayor's name on them. And re-rig was $260,000 cheaper. So I don't know if that's the cost. I don't know. To get that die made to stamp those out. So if I could please get a legal opinion on, can we use, the mayor have his name on paraphernalia, trash cans, signs, shirts, and not voted on by the council, because that's an issue. So I yield the floor.
Any other discussion in the second round? Any other discussion in the second round? Okay, I'm going to take a couple of minutes just to state that before we transferred the ARPA funds in, I was talking about raising the garbage rates, and that I felt that leaving it at the same rate was a detriment to the fund, because it didn't cover the cost. So yes, we are going to have to raise the rates eventually, but in the meantime, this is where we're at. And luckily, we can hold the rates as they are and still receive the premium services. So that's my discussion. Any discussion in the third round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Yes, so we're saying we're not raising rates, but we are getting a bill starting in July for $202.56. So that's, I mean, you're technically raising rates. If you're getting a special assessment.
What's your request? We have.
So, but she's saying add an additional.
No.
It's not. Okay.
No.
No, it's not.
It's the same as last year.
It's not an additional. So in this resolution, or 25, what is it, 26?
It's gonna be the same as 25.
And then 27, it goes up.
Yeah, and then.
So, Mr. Moore, when is it going up?
I'm guessing in 2027, probably a year from now.
Right, so 26, 27, it goes up, we'll get a special assessment, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, so we,
Assessment every year. The garbage rate and the light,
but we
excuse me,
took-
point of
but we-
information.
hold on, let me finish. So, because he stated before in our budget hearings that the tax, we would not have enough revenue to cover last year. He said that we would either have to decrease services or there would be a special assessment.
Last year, we were very conservative when we made the estimate. We thought we were going to have a increase this year. Fortunately, we transferred enough that we could cover 3 years with what we did. We thought it was only going to be 2 years.
Could you repeat that again, because I couldn't hear it?
When we made the estimate last year, we were conservative in how we made the estimate. We thought we would cover 2 years with the $2 million that we transferred. We were fortunate that it's actually going to cover 3 years.
Okay, so the 2 million covered 3 years.
That's correct.
So we had to put 2 million in because of what?
Because otherwise, we would have been raising rates or you'd be having a deficit.
Okay, so, right, so he's saying we didn't have,
They would have had to raise the 200 and.
right, to raise it up.
Yeah.
Raise it up,
Right, and so
but
what,
not add an additional.
right, so we would raise it up to what would be, but we don't know what the difference will be doing. Well, we have a 5-year contract, so we should know. Do we know what they'll be raised up to?
We can calculate those if you like.
Yeah, can we, I'll put that, if you can calculate how much it will be raised to, amount of raise.
Point, I want to go back to my point of information
yeah.
that I had said, is that the emergency manager actually put that as a special assessment for the streetlights and the garbage. It was a tax. And the
Right.
emergency manager took that and put it on as a special assessment so he could raise the tax.
Okay. All right.
I remember that.
I think I have some clarity now with that, because with the 2 million, I've got it. Thank you.
Any other discussion in the third round? Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, it seems to me like the streetlight and this are on opposite spectrums, meaning
Yes.
they're complete opposite.
Yes.
Is financially positioned opposite. What happens? And I noticed, and that goes back to the service rate fee. What happens? How long are these garbage cans? Is the city guaranteeing that they be a viable option for the residents before? So are they have a life of 5 years, 10 years? At some point, they're going to have to be replaced, right? So are we going to have to add another special assessment, or are we saying that after the 5-year lifespan, that their residents are going to have to come out of pocket per each one if they need to be replaced?
We haven't addressed that question yet. My expectation would be that the useful life of a trash bin is probably at least 10 years.
You say that, Mr. Moore, but you don't live in the city, and
that's
no, and I'm not saying that as a derogatory thing. I'm saying that as my garbage can gets picked up by this thing, and this arm is beating the crap out of it, and there's gouges in it already, and they've started. When did they start picking it up with these machines? Like in the last few months.
Yep.
So I don't think that they have a 10-year lifespan if the machine is gouging the mess out of them already. And if their machine is gouging it and damaging it, at some point it's going to be failed. Is that failure beyond the lifespan on the resident, or now we're going to have to come out of pocket some other way as a mass replacement because, I don't know.
That's a question we're going to have.
I'm not saying that's a question for you or maybe for Mr. Edwards to to find the answer out, but we gotta, we came up with the plan to come up to buy to grant to purchase them, but once again, we don't have a plan on how the program is going to evolve over its lifespan, and with the fee schedule, it has replacement of $150. I'm like, so if it breaks in the next 3 years, like, what are we? Because I don't think we've told the residents, once you get this can, if it breaks beyond, or if it breaks at day 2 or day 1,002, you're going to have to come up with this money or replace the can or do anything else. I don't think we've given any of that information to the residents, and I'm just asking if because there was a 5-year contract, but it was basically a 10-year contract or an 8-year contract because there was additional add-on years. So at some point, this trash bin thing is going to come to a head again, and like, hate to keep asking the administration for plans, but what are we going to do in 5 years when we start having mass casualties on these trash bins? So not something I need an answer today, but at some point it's going to boil over.
Request for information.
What's your request?
Wasn't there are reserved trash cans, right? We have X amount
And
of
parts.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
So I'll yield. I'm done.
Anyone else? Anyone else on the third round? I believe. Let me double check. Yep, third round. Okay. I'm going to take a few minutes. Some of these questions were addressed during budget hearings. And either they weren't watching the videos or they didn't put their questions in writing to the department heads for which they could answer, and we could add those answers for today. And I want everybody to understand that those were questions that were asked and addressed. Going on now, anybody in the fourth round?
Yep.
Madam Chair, point of information.
What's your point?
Back to your point. So are you saying that you guys discussed the solid waste assessment fee?
We did.
Oh, you did?
Yep, it was part of the discussion.
Oh, okay. Well, why are we discussing it tonight?
It's the resolution to approve on this resolution.
So that's why
what
we're
it is.
having discussion, and we can ask questions.
And
I just want to say to you, we can ask questions, whatever question we have in regards to this resolution, whether you guys had discussion before or not. So why do you keep saying that?
Because I want to reiterate to the
You don't
people.
need to reiterate.
I'm going to reiterate to the residents at home, and this is it. I am that members of this body did not attend more than 1 or 2 budget hearings. And some of the questions that they're asking are questions that were asked during those budget hearings and were answered. They didn't even watch the videos.
A point of order.
Jesus.
Point of order.
What's your point?
No, I'm gonna wait till my time. I'm gonna wait. So when we're done, I'd ask for the floor when all 3 of us into our next round.
I heard Mr. Pfeiffer first for the third round. Fourth round.
Is it me?
Yep, I heard you.
So when you actually give the budget hearing out and ask if people can make it, then you should pipe up and say people people weren't there, and they said that they were going to be there. But when you broadcast something out as a dictator and say, this is the schedule, you either show up or you don't. Don't come up here and try pulling that crap.
Point of information. An email was sent out in December asking, how would you like budget hearings to be done? Not a single response. Did you, Ms. Donahue, did you receive any response to that email that was put out?
Point of order, you're taking the floor.
That's not a time, that's how.
So
That's not
when you want to try to throw people under the bus, I'll reclaim my time. When you want to try to throw people under the bus, and I just want to let residents know that whatever, nobody cares, Judy. We're here, this is in front of us today, we're asking questions today. It's just unbelievable. Like, the 6 people that watched your hearings because people were falling asleep, nobody cares. We're here today to discuss this. This resolution was not presented in your budget hearings.
Nor the paperwork.
I yield. I'm done.
Any other discussion in the fourth round?
Yes, I would be getting the floor next, so.
Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
Thank you. So, everyone has other responsibilities, and we all do. So, to say 1 or 2, I really don't know how many I was at. But I know it was more than 1. It was probably more than 2. And when I would, okay, I'm not asking you for my attendance. But when I wasn't here, what I did was watch. That doesn't mean you are deemed that at that time, that's the only time you can ask questions. That's not how this works. It doesn't work this way, or anymore. It doesn't work that way. This should be a time where we should be able to ask anything, because these are questions. This power trip, stop it. Because we've got legitimate questions that people want to know. If you was there at budget time, you don't know what we're doing. You didn't send a calendar. What we did was get the budget. Asking how do you want it done is not the same as saying, are you available on this day? And you amended the days without asking. So let's be clear about that. You did not say, can you, or to us, can you be here on a Wednesday? You didn't do that. Wasn't done. It didn't, then when it was amended, you didn't say, hey, we need to amend it to this day. Is everyone available? That didn't happen, so you're not telling the truth. You're not. You're not telling the truth. You did not ask us if we were available. Asking how the vision of how you want budget hearings to be done is not the same as asking your availability. It's just not. And if you give a very short notice, a 24-hour notice, that's not going to work for this council. Respectfully, respectfully. So for you to say that, again, I have 3 grown children and 2 parents which are seniors. And my time is just as important as the residents' time. If you send one 24 hours before, that's not enough or an adequate amount of time for me. It's not. Literally, in case you want, Judy, I was watching the hearings with my mother because I have a caregiver issue. And so for you to comment like that and you shooting shots tonight, right, I don't, exactly. And it needs to stop. When y'all looking for, tonight is to pass the budget. I don't care if I want to ask 1 million questions, if I want to duplicate them, I can do that. You don't get to limit what we ask. It's not your place to do that. You just don't do that. And you send out the amendments. Did anybody call and say, hey, we moved this from this day to that day? I didn't get a call if it was okay. It came in the email that it was changed. So how something is to look is not scheduling. It's included in it, but it's not specific to it. That's
Point of information.
What's your point?
This is to Councilwoman Burns. Do you realize you're not a part of the leadership team?
some of the leadership team is not here tonight. So I just want, the questions, and sometimes you may need to have more questions, and that's what budget time is for. You're not limited. Stop limiting. You know, we are all elected equally by the people to our wards, all of us. Stop limiting. Don't do that. You know, and we have some legitimate questions. It doesn't mean you had to ask that question at budget. Where does it say you have to ask your questions at budget? It doesn't state that. And I think it's a very, Judy, this council is changing, and I want to move along with respect to each other. Stop shooting shots. I'm sitting here not because I don't have something to do, but because the budget is taking precedence, and you shooting shots. Stop that tonight.
Fourth round.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I do want to reiterate what you said about the fact that you did ask all members, Madam Clerk actually sent it out, asked all members their availability in December about budget hearings. Like you said, none of us responded to you. And so because no one responded to the clerk who sent out the request that you asked to send out, you then set a schedule, because the schedule has to be set regardless to if we respond or not.
Request for information.
What's your request?
So we're supposed to know our schedule in December for what we're going to be doing on a random day in May?
So you're supposed to respond and give some ideas of when you're available. We can't keep holding it off just because you don't know what your schedule might be.
Request for information.
What's your request?
In December, I have more availability, but because I have an aging mother, it changed.
As I was stating, because what was brought up was that she didn't ask, and she did ask. Nobody responded, me included.
Request for
So what she
information.
did was set a
Request for
date.
information.
What's your request?
Did she ask for the amendments?
Let
For
me
a change in
continue.
time?
As I was saying, since it was put out there that she did not ask, and she did, and nobody responded, so she moved forward as the finance chair and set dates. And then, furthermore, the same way that you all are saying you have the right to say what you want to say tonight, and you can ask whatever questions you want, she can make the statement that some of these questions were already asked because they were. The same way that you get to say what you want, she gets to say what she wants. She can point out that y'all missed budget hearings and that these questions were asked. She can point out that some of this stuff was already explained. She's well within her right to do so. It's not taking shots, it's stating facts.
Request for information, because you do this
You keep using the floor. You keep trying to use the
floor. Request for.
What's your request?
You just losing.
What's your
form.
request?
You're losing. Form
That's
now.
fine. Y'all weren't going to vote on any of this tonight anyway. We keep moving it back. We keep moving everything to finance. It was scheduled so that we can try and get this work done. It is amazing how you want to sit up here and be able to say whatever you want to say. Then when someone says something back that is a fact, you're leaving. Enjoy being derelict of duty. Have a good evening, everyone. Well, I got 3 more minutes. You gonna hear for another 3. Let's see, what else? I believe there was a comment made about the fact that something was boring. This is a city business. Everything's not gonna be eventful and entertaining. We were doing the city business, but because you all can't sit up here and tell her that she can't point out that these questions were already asked, you wanna leave.
No.
There's nothing stopping you from doing city business.
You're being disrespectful.
That's amazing. Y'all were being disrespectful to Judy.
Excuse me, I've been, point of information, I'm just being disrespected frequently.
Your kids are grown. What my kids got to do with anything?
So it's,
I'm not
gonna say it.
That's fine, because it's good when y'all do it, but it's a problem when we do it. See you later.
Exactly. Goodbye, this meeting
Bye-bye.
is adjourned for lack of quorum.
And another city